Welcome to the Daughter Aries channel. My name is Yvonne and this channel is all about bringing you content about childhood sexual abuse. On this channel I share things to do with my journey and experiences of going through this childhood trauma. I also share news stories and add my thoughts and commentary to them, and I also from time to time as well interview other survivors and their supporters in hopes of raising awareness about this childhood abuse. So if this is the type of content you're looking for, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified of any new uploads. And if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up button. So today's news story comes from the Daily Mail and it is about Tiffany Haddish and somebody called Aries. Both of them are comedians and they have been accused of using their comedy skit to abuse two children, a girl 14 and her brother 7. I will leave a link to the story in the description box below. So it says here, the woman who accused Tiffany Haddish and comedian Aries of sexually abusing her and her brother as minors has called on the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office to immediately arrest and prosecute the celebrities. The 22-year-old woman, known only as Jane Doe, sued Haddish and Spears, saying the pair abused her and her younger brother during the filming of two comedy sketches when they were just 14 and 17 years old. One of the sketches was titled Through a Paedophile's Eyes. The woman and her brother, John Doe, said they were forced to participate in sexually suggested acts on camera, which left them with crippling emotional scars that they are still dealing with today. In addition to filing the lawsuit, Jane Doe sent a letter to LA County DA George Gascon accusing authorities of doing nothing about the case in nearly 2 years, since it was reported by their mother to the Las Vegas police in January 2020. In the letter, Jane Doe alleges Haddish and Spears were mentioned by name in the initial complaint, and that the LVPD transferred the case to the Los Angeles Police Department, but that the LAPD officer assigned to it has done nothing with this complaint. This matter's breadth and complexity require your jurisdictional powers and resources to tackle and end the stream of depravity committed by Haddish and Spears, the letter continued. My brother and I are prepared to speak to investigators and prosecutors from your office and provide you with irrefutable evidence that substantiates our allegations. Haddish, 42, acknowledged her participation in the sketches, saying in a statement on her Instagram on Monday that they were intended to be comedic. It wasn't funny at all. That doesn't really make any sense, but that's what it says. Attorneys for Spears told the Washington Post he wasn't going to fall for any shakedown. Jane and John Doe alleged their mother was friends with Haddish, who recruited them to participate in the videos. Jane said in 2013 she agreed to partake in the video in which Spears asked her to mimic a woman eating a sub sandwich in a suggestive manner, noises and all. When Jane did not do as she was told, she said Haddish joined in and instructed her how to give fellatio, including movements, noises, moaning and groaning, according to the complainant. The complainant states that the experience has left her scarred ever since, ever fearful and unable to trust anybody. Plaintiff Jane Doe is 22 years old now and has never dated, the lawsuit reads. She is scared that she will be taken advantage of again and led down a path of false trust, like the path that Haddish led her down. Complaint alleges her brother participated in a sketch video a year later at Spears' home. This was the video titled The Mind of a Paedophile and depicted John Doe as a 7-year-old left alone with a paedophilic babysitter played by Spears. According to the Daily Beast, John wore only his underwear throughout the video and Spears rubbed baby oil on his body. By the end of the video, Spears was shirtless and received a massage from John. He now claims to be afraid of being watched or recorded to the extent that he puts band-aids over all cameras on his electronics and has lived an isolated life since the video. I don't have any friends, I don't trust anybody, I'm scared of adults. I refuse to be recorded or take pictures because I'm scared of some weird ass adults trying to do nasty stuff to me again, he wrote in the complaint. I spend most of my time in my room and don't go nowhere with anybody because I don't trust anybody. In a statement to the Daily Mail, Haddish's attorney Andrew Bretler said those accusations were bogus and that a host of attorneys who had considered taking the case agreed. The plaintiff's mother, Teresa Morris, has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Miss Haddish for several years, he said. Every attorney who has initially taken on her case, and there were several, immediately dropped the matter once it became clear that the claims were meritless and Miss Haddish would not be shaken down. Though Haddish acknowledged the videos and voiced regret about them, she said she could not provide details as the case was ongoing. I know people have a bunch of questions, I get it. I'm right here with you. Unfortunately, because of an ongoing legal case, there's very little I can say right now. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about the situation as soon as I can. The siblings also said their mother previously tried to reach $15,000 settlement with Spears over the alleged molestation video. The mother alleges that she met Haddish through comedy and the two developed a close bond as they were both going through divorces at the time. According to the lawsuit, Haddish called the family for every birthday and Christmas. So as you just heard from that story, there is a lot to unpack here, and my first thoughts on reading this story is that where there is smoke, there is fire. Now, I don't know what planet these two thought they were on, Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, to think that it was a good idea to get two underage children to mimic sex acts for one of their comedy skits. The very fact that in their mind they thought that this was a good idea and carried it out shows that, you know, people really need to be alarmed at these two. And I don't care about their fan base. I don't care about their celebrity status or whatever. These two are wrong for what they have done to these two children. Now, the very fact of the matter is, with Aries Spears filming a video with a 7-year-old boy titled Through a Paedophile's Eyes is very self-telling. I wouldn't be surprised if later on down the line information came up about him in other molestation cases, because at the end of the day, who does this type of behavior? If you have watched my videos and heard me talk about paedophiles, you know, paedophiles need to have an inclination to be able to carry out certain behaviors. They have to override inner defenses to be able to do certain things. Nobody in their right mind picks up themselves, gets themselves into a situation with young kids who are not even theirs as well, you know, to film this type of sexual coercion. And under the law, under the definition of sexual abuse, it is classed as sexual abuse, coercing and inciting children to carry out sexual acts. Now, in regards to Tiffany Haddish, you would think she would know better, because Tiffany Haddish has disclosed that she was sexually abused as a young girl, where, you know, somebody had done sexual things to her who was a lot older than her. So you'd think that she would know better. But then again, maybe she hasn't dealt with her sexual abuse as a child. Maybe she has turned her pain or her understanding of what has happened to her in her head into a warped way to be able to handle it through comedy. And their reactions to the alleged allegations from these two young individuals shows that they have a warped and weird mindset, especially towards sexual abuse. And this is very troubling. The fact that she changed her statement shows that something has actually gone on. To what extent, we don't know, because apparently the police have not even investigated it since it was reported in 2020. If it was anybody else, they would have been on that case. But because I think these two are famous, they have got this kind of celebrity privilege where things are brushed under the carpet. Both of their responses to the allegations really do suck. And the fact that their lawyers are saying, you know, they're not going to allow themselves to be shaken down. This is the same old trick that celebrities use when they are accused of sexual abuse by somebody who is not a celebrity like them. They will first always go to that first line of defense. Well, you know, they're after my money. They're trying to extort me and stuff. You know, R. Kelly tried this, but where is he now? He's actually in prison. The fact of the matter is they both should be investigated by the police. The case was assigned to a police officer. There is no reason why this should not be investigated. You know, if anybody else reported a crime to the police, it would be investigated. But as I said, I think the fact that they are celebrities has played a huge part in this. Also, as well, I want to talk about the mother and the situation that she found herself in. Now, obviously, she was going through a very vulnerable time in her life, you know, going through a divorce with two young children. And if we were looking at that in terms of how a paedophile operates, they do come in when a family is at its weakest point. That's how they're able to befriend like the parent and then befriend the children. That is how she was able to have access to the children. But the mother didn't do her children any favors with trying to reach a $15,000 settlement. I think that it has harmed the credibility of her two children's experiences, which, by the way, has really severely impacted them. I don't know the mother's intentions in doing this, but it doesn't seem like a good move on behalf of her children. This is my thoughts on what I've read, and this is coming from my experience of supporting and helping survivors for the last 12 years, my own personal experiences, writing books and being a consultant on the topic of childhood sexual abuse. In my opinion, both of these two show paedophile tendencies. And as I said, I've done a video before where I've talked about, the tendencies that paedophiles have and the stages that they go through. They both show these type of tendencies. Both of them need to be held accountable for this. It is not on. The fact that they thought that this was a good idea shows the two of them are sick and warped. At the very least, the police should investigate. The fact that these two made up videos with the titles like Through a Paedophile's Eyes should be huge red flags. So that is it for this video. I will leave a link to it in the description box below. Until the next time, take care.